So, all right, so the outfield. I haven't really worked with the outfield at all in the time that we've been inside. So today is the day. This is going to be a little long-winded. So, like, just bear with me. I'm going to try my best to break it up so that way it's not as, like, drawn out. And I'll mix in some work along with what I want to explain to you guys. But it's important that I give you guys this information so you guys have a solid understanding of what we're trying to get done in the outfield and what you guys are trying to do as outfielders. All right? So there's 6 things that we're going to run through. That I think are important for you guys as outfielders to like become efficient and be really good at it. So we're going to take it one at a time, and I'm going to take my time with each of them. All right, so that's why I said it's going to be a little long-winded. So just brace yourselves and stay locked in with me. All right. All right. So talking about outfield play, the first important thing that we got to do is we got to talk about your prep step. All right. The prep step is the key to everything in the outfield. All right. Because of the fact that it's outfielders, you guys are like the last line of defense in the sense that the ball gets out of the infield and it gets to you in the outfield. If it gets past you, there's nothing to stop it except the wall, right? So that's what I mean when I say you guys are the last line of defense. All right, so any ball hit on the ground, it can't get by you. Anything goes up in the air, we got to do our best to hustle and really work to get there and get to it as quickly as we can if it's over our head and it gets down. All right, because balls that get past you guys in the outfield, it's allowing the hitter or the runners to take extra bases, and we don't want to give up any extra 90 feet bases than we need to, right? I have a rule, no free 90s, right? So understand that as outfielders, the mentality should be no free 90s, all right? So now, that being said, the prep step for you guys as outfielders, it's equally as important as it is for infielders, and I would even go as far to say maybe even more so it's important, because you guys are working in a 3-second window. All right, so here's what I mean by that. Playing the outfield really is about how quickly can you get to a ball hit to you once the ball is hit off the bat, right? So the ball enters into the hitting zone, the batter makes contact with it. From the time the bat makes contact with the baseball to the time you react to it and move, outfield plays about how quickly can you get to that ball once it leaves the bat, right? So here go the prep step. This is why it's important, because the prep step is what's going to allow you to have that initial move and get some kind of movement going to react, first of all. And then second of all, it's going to help you get a good jump on the baseball to get to it as quickly as you can. Fair enough? So with the prep step, what we're talking about is this. For the center fielder, it's a little easier. You have the benefit of anticipation, right? Because you can see the catcher's mitt. You can see what the catcher's putting down as far as signs, depending on your vision. And you can see where the glove is drifting, right? So if I'm playing center field and I see the catcher sets up inside and the pitcher hits his location, and I take my prep step and I'm going to anticipate which way might I move for a righty hitter. To the pull side, right? Because I'm anticipating that pitch is called inside, the pitch was made inside, the batter likely might pull it. So I'm going to anticipate that, and my initial reaction is going to be to cheat to the pull side, right? If it's a pitch on the outer part of the plate and the pitcher makes his pitch, when I anticipate that, I'm gonna react to the opposite field. That makes sense? Okay? So the corner outfielders now, how that changes is you guys don't have the benefit of anticipation. So for you guys as corner outfielders, the left fielder and the right fielder, you guys are more so reading swings than you are having the ability to anticipate what might go on once that ball enters the hitting zone, right? So now, off the bat of a right-handed hitter, the ball is going to hook away from you down the line, and it's going to tail towards you on a ball that's hitting the gap, right? Because remember, if it's hooking down the line, if it's hitting the gap, it's going to work its way back towards you. So you have to know that about the baseball when it's hit off the bat. Same thing for a lefty. For a lefty hitter, it's going to hook down the line. It's going to tail back in on a ball hitting the gap. So those are important things to know, okay? So with the prep step, what we're doing is this. You're in the outfield. You could be standing there, hanging out, right? Doing whatever you need to do to stay comfortable. When the pitcher's in their windup or their stretch position, when they make their initial move, that's when you have to get your hand off your hips, and we got to make some type of movement to anticipate, hey, I got to get ready, right? When the pitcher gets to the release point in their delivery, that's when you're going to bring the other foot forward and you're going to take a hop, okay? What that hop does, if you time it right, 99% of the time, if you time it right, when you get to here, the ball will be in the hitting zone, and the batter's either going to make contact, swing and miss, take the pitch, whatever's going to happen, but you're ready to react once that ball enters the hitting zone. That's what the prep step is about. Putting yourself in position where you're on the balls of your feet, ready to react when the ball enters the hitting zone. We're good with that? Okay. With that, okay, ball enters into the hitting zone, ball gets hit in the air. By a show of hands, how many of you guys had a fly ball hit where you started running and the ball looked like it was jumping to you? Like the ball literally like in the air, it looked like it was bouncing in the air to you, right? It happened to you guys? Okay. The reason for that is because when you guys take off running, 90% of the time you guys are going to take off and you're going to be running on your heels, right? So if you're running on your heels to go get the baseball, when your heels are hitting the floor, it's making your head jolt. So your head is jolting up and down, right? If your head is bouncing up and down, what else is bouncing up and down? Because it's inside your head, your eyes, right? So if your head is bouncing, your eyes are bouncing. That's the reason why the ball looks like it's bouncing, because your eyes are bouncing up and down because your head's bouncing up and down, all right? So to avoid that, when you guys take off and start going after the ball, you guys got to get to the balls of your feet. It's about running on the balls of your feet and getting there, okay, which ties into what I said before, because when you guys take the prep step and the ball is hitting, you get going, it's about how quickly you can react and how quickly you can get to top speed to get to the baseball. And all of that has to take place within 3 seconds. Fair enough? All right. So I'm going to give you guys a break right there. Now we're going to go into a little drill work working on that prep step. Good. Next guy. You might want to get it like right from behind you. See what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. You got to anticipate, right? So you toss it. And we'll do it like this. Whatever hand I catch you with, that's the way you're going to go. So when you toss, when you land, whichever hand I catch with, that's the route you take. Break that way. Take the prep step and react. Next part of it is now, and this is about not being lazy. It's about getting back on the baseball and getting behind it so that we can work through it. All right. So what that really comes down to, it's about effort. Okay. Effort is something that the coaches, we can't coach that. That's between you and you. All right. Ball gets hit in the air. You guys are now at that age where, hey, when you guys were young kids, ball would get hit, you'd run and you're looking at the baseball all the way back and you'd make your catch, right? Now you guys are at that age where it's time to start learning how to go back on the baseball, see where it's going to land, get to that spot, set up behind it so that we can get there and catch it and make a good transition to throw. All right? So it's important now that you guys start really putting an emphasis on making an effort to get back behind the ball on every opportunity that the ball goes up in the air that you can, regardless if there's a runner on base or not, because it's just good practice to constantly keep doing it so that you get to gain mastery of the movement, right? So what we want to do, we want to get back behind the ball and we want to work through it. With that, we want to also get to a space where we start to get comfortable catching the baseball as close as we can to the center of our body, right? Because we throw from center, okay? So if I throw this ball up in the air and I catch it up here, in order to throw it, I got to bring it back down to my chest, to my center, to put myself in position to throw it, right? So if I start to develop the ability to catch this ball closer to my center, it's easier for me to make a good transition and get rid of it. That makes sense? So again, I throw it up, I let it get here. It's an easier transition there versus I throw it up and I catch it here and I got to bring it back down to get there. That makes sense? So not only am I trying to get back behind it so I can work through it, once I get behind it in terms of working through it, I want to catch it as close as I can to my center as I'm working through it so that I can put myself in a position to make the throw as quickly as I can and get it back into the infield. Because that's what's going to determine if that batter or that runner gets the extra base, how quickly I can get the ball back in as an outfielder. All right? So going back on the ball, working behind it, working through it, catching it as close as we can to the center, all of that is important. The only reason why you guys will go back on the ball, and sometimes the ball is in the air and you guys are catching it like behind your head back here, it's because you're being lazy and you're not getting back where the ball's going to land at. You understand? So, having touched on that, your angles. I can come straight, right? These are your 8 angles. I can go straight on either foot, right? I can take the angle coming in on my left side or my right side. I can work my forehand angle going this way and a ball hit this way. I can work my backhand angle on a ball hit this way, going back. I've got the 45 angle this way. I got the 45 angle going this way. And then I got straight back with either foot. It doesn't matter. Okay? That's important because ball gets hit. I take my prep step. I react. If I'm going to go, I'm going to turn my head and I'm going to get to that spot and be there by the time the ball comes down. I want to be there. Okay? So when I start throwing balls up in the air to you guys, start working on taking those angles and getting back and working from behind the baseball and work through it. Catching as close as you can to your center. All right? Let's work. So I'm going to give you guys the space. You can move those cones out the way. I'm going to give you guys the ability to get behind it and work through it. So take 3 good aggressive steps in that direction and then start working back towards the ball. Remember, work back through it. Don't just get behind. Once you get behind, you're getting behind it to work through it. Good. So see, like, don't just keep drifting back like that because that ball can beat you if you're drifting. Work to get behind it and work through it when you can. But in this instance, I'm throwing it up where you have the ability to get behind it and come back through it. The prep step, we covered getting behind the baseball and working through it. We covered catching it closer to our center so we can make the transition to throw it easier. All right? So that brings us to throwing. All right? So as outfielders, one of the things that you want to avoid at all costs, if you can, is avoid short hopping the infielder you're throwing the baseball to. So let's say we got a close play that's going to be made at second base. You don't want to short hop the infielder because that's going to be tough for them to pick and make a play on to like put a tag down, right? So as the outfielder, you always got to condition yourself that you're going to make the longest throw, all right? So knowing that I'm going to make the longest throw, you want to master the ability to make the long hop throw. Where you take that, you make that throw, and it takes that one bounce, and it takes that long, it bounces and takes a long hop to your infielder, whether it be the second baseman, the third baseman, or whoever, right? Because that long hop, it takes that bounce, takes that long hop. That's an easier ball for the infielder to catch and make a play on, to help you make a, put a tag down and help you with the assist, right? So how do you work on that? It's when you're playing your catch play, when you're getting loose, work on making those like line drive throws that take that one long bounce to your partner. It's something that you work on during your catch play, all right? But I'm just telling you, like as outfielders, you want to think, I need to make long hop throws. Is it going to always work out that way? No, you don't. You're not perfect. You're not going to be able to always make that long hop throw. Some throws, yeah, you're going to short hop the infielder. But if you can help it, you want to make the long hop throw, all right? With that, while we're on the topic of throwing, it's understanding, hey, when am I throwing to certain bases, right? Like what's going to dictate what base I throw to and when, okay? So I have a rule. We talked about it earlier. No free 90s. That's my rule. No free 90s. We don't give up a free 90 feet to a hitter or the runner, right? The guy that just hit the ball or the base runner currently on base, we're trying not to give them a free 90 feet, right? So if you're not 90% sure that you have a 90% chance of throwing out the runner, the lead runner, don't let the trail runner behind him get the extra 90 feet. So what does that mean? A ball hit down the line, left field, right field line, or in the gap, that's a sure double, possible triple for the hitter. So if you got a runner on first base, chances are the runner on first, if the batter's getting 2 bases, possibly 3, the runner already on base is definitely getting 2 bases, possibly 3, right? So we're probably not going to get that lead runner out at second or third. So where will we make the throw to? We want to stop the guy that hit the ball from getting to second base. So we're going to make that cutoff throw, get it back into second base to keep the guy that hit it at first base if we can. Keeps a first and third situation, it sets up a first and third situation, and it keeps the double play in order. So that's another thing as an outfielder, one of your biggest priorities is to always keep the double play in order. All right? So it's knowing, hey, where this ball is hit, what's my chances of getting this guy out, the lead guy out, or getting the guy to hit the ball, getting him out at the base he's going to. And if I don't have it, 90% chance that I don't have it, I want to keep him from getting the extra base. So that's what we're looking to do. All right? So with that, cutoffs and relays, making throws to cutoffs and relays. It's understanding how to miss and when to miss, right? If I got a cutoff situation, do I want to miss high or do I want to miss low? What do you think? You say low? You say high? You say it depends? Depends on what? You are absolutely right. What's your first name? Frankie? Frankie is absolutely right. When you got a cutoff situation, you're right. You want to miss low, right? Because a cutoff situation, if I miss low, it gives the cutoff man an opportunity to come up and get that ball on a short hop or to get it before it short hops him, and he can turn and make a throw to whatever base we need to make the throw to, second, third, wherever we got to go, right? If you miss high in a cutoff situation, the play's busted. The hitter or the runner is going to get the extra 90 feet because now you've overthrown your cutoff man, right? So when you're dealing with a cutoff man situation, miss low because your infielder or that cutoff man can help you on a throw down, right? When you got a relay situation, and that's usually short, double, possible triple in the gap or down the line, yes, now you can miss high because now there's another guy behind the lead cutoff man, right? So if you miss him, the guy behind him is there to help you out. So it's okay to miss high there. And in actuality, if you short hop the lead guy, the guy's going to get the extra base now because short hopping the lead cutoff man, by the time he goes up and catches the short hop, does what he has to do with that and turn around and make the throw, that's what allows that runner to get the extra 90 feet. So in a relay situation, if you're going to miss high. That makes sense? Okay, cool. So not gonna really do too much throwing right now while they're working, and when they're done, we'll get to the throwing. So I'll just tackle the last piece, which is you gotta work on ground balls as well. All right, don't just work fly balls and don't just work ground balls. You gotta work them both. All right, but understand the ball's not gonna take any funny bounces in the air. So if you're asking me, the fly ball is the easier thing to work on, and it's something that you would do during batting practice where you're getting your reads off the bat, right? But make sure as outfielders you're working on your ground balls, because it's just as important for outfielders to work on ground balls as it is for infielders. And something that I talk to infielders about that applies to outfield play as well, it's learning how to read hops, all right? So that's what the prep step is about also, so that on the ground ball that's hit, we can be aggressive getting to it, and as we're approaching it, we're reading the hop, right? Because we want to pick out the hop that we want. Question, do we want the hop where the ball's on its way to the ground, or do we want the ball when it hops off the ground and it's in the air? Off the ground in the air, all right? So as an outfielder, you're working to keep that ball on your left side, on your glove side, right? And then what happens is, we're picking out that hop. So when we get to the hop that we want, that's the one we're gonna work through, and then we're gonna put ourselves in position where we need to make the throw to, and position ourselves there, and we're gonna make that throw to that base, or to that cutoff man, or wherever we need to make the throw, okay? But when I say you need to work on your ground balls, yes, it's working on the ball that's hit right at you, picking up that hop that we want. It's working on the ball that's hit to your glove side, being able to cut that ball off, right? It's also, hey, that ball might be hit way outside my glove side, and I have to get to it, and I have to, make that turn glove side and make the throw that way. Or it's the backhand that I got to work on cutting that ball off so it doesn't get by me, and then making that throw, right? So it's all these different things, whether, like I said, whether it's the backhand I got to cut off to make the throw, or the forehand that I got to cut off and make the throw, or the forehand I got to cut off, turn and throw. I got to work on all of these things as an outfielder, because these are the different types of plays that I may be called upon to have to make to help my team defensively. So that's, again, when those angles become important. And like I'll always tell guys, the balls that are hit that take you laterally, don't just go on a straight line. Don't ever take straight lines on a ball in the outfield, because the shortest distance to any point is what? A straight line. So if the ball is hit and it's moving this way and you're going in a straight line this way, the ball likely will beat you. But if you take a little bit of a 45-degree angle and you can round it off and get behind and get to it that way, then that's going to help you. All right, that's going to help us to be able to get behind a ball, and then we can round it off, right, to our backhand side, or to our glove hand side. We can round it off. If we have to play the backhand, we're not afraid to do that either. We can get to it and cut it off. We're not afraid to do that either as outfielders. All right, so the same rules that apply to infielders in terms of reading hops, it applies to the outfield as well, and we have to be aggressive as outfielders on ground balls. We want to be aggressive. That makes sense? All right, so we're gonna work it now. So I'm gonna roll grounders to you guys. We're gonna work on taking those angles, cutting balls off, being aggressive and charging them. All right, let's work. Drop it in the bucket. Drop it in the bucket. All right, look. So on those balls that are hit right at you, right? What you guys are looking to do, yes, you want to work through it the way you're working through it. Just be careful about direction, right? Everything is about distance and direction, right? So that ground ball that I'm charging, when I field it, when I come up, if I take my back foot, so like let's say I want to throw the ball to second base and I'm positioning myself to make the throw to second base. If I charge the ball to second base is here, and I pick the ball up here and I take my back foot as I'm coming up and I step this way, it takes me offline from second base. That makes sense? So you want to make sure that when you feel that ground ball, when you come through it, that you keep yourself in line. So you want to think, you're thinking about making a throw hop, right? But you also want to be thinking right to left, left to target. If you're left-handed, left to right, right to target, right? So I'm here and I feel this baseball. I'm going to feel the ball off my left side, right? Just outside my left foot. And as I'm coming up, right to left, left to target, with my crow hop and I'm making my throw, it's keeping me in line better. It's keeping me in better alignment. All right, so don't try to don't come up and cross behind this way because it's going to take you offline. All right, we're going to run through it again. Good, that's better. Come to me. You want to set your direction towards me. Okay. We're going to go to the left and right now. We're going to go glove side. Shift the line over this way. Everybody shift over this way. The whole line, move the whole line over this way. You guys kind of have like a checklist of things, you know, to keep in the back of your mind about outfield play, right? So, you know, like I tell the infielders, it's about, you know, your feet, fielding the ball, getting it back to center to make the throw, throwing it, footwork, following it, and everything like that to make sure the throws are going where we want them to go, and we got ourselves in good position as outfielders to do the things we're looking to do in the outfield. You know, you guys did a great job. I don't know if they have. You guys got the outfielders getting ready to do something? Oh, they're done. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So you guys survived and you made it to the fun part. Now you guys get to go hit. All right. All right. Just pick up the baseballs and good work.